Guys, welcome back to Crossover Convos episode 28. We are joined by Ethan. How's it going, mate?
It's going well, Mikey. It's a pleasure to actually be here. It's been a bit of a experience trying to actually record a single episode. Um,
Yeah,
I do
thanks
have
to
a bit
Cal.
of yeah, I do have a bit of a confession to actually make about, because obviously I missed our first recording, and
Yeah.
I said I was busy out the house. I was not. I was asleep. I slept through the whole
Yeah,
thing.
but
We waited 45 minutes.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, dude. Literally, like I wake up and it's just like it's 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I missed it. I mean, I was too embarrassed. I just told Cal, I was like, "Oh, I was busy, traffic." And I rang up Jan immediately. I was like, "Jan, I've lied to the boys here. I was like, I'll tell them tomorrow when we record tomorrow." And then tomorrow turned into Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
we
actually
both,
good to be here. So thank
oh,
you guys.
yeah. It's an honor to have you on, and I did turn down one time as well, so.
Hey, it is what it is. It seems like Cal's the only one who's dedicated to crossover convos, and I reckon he should go solo. So.
Well, it's in the contract. He can't. Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
Mikey's fourth. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. It's a 25-year contract.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Mate, you're gonna
so
be fucked once Misfits ends because you have 20 years of solid uh Breakout
Okay.
7 uh
Yeah.
like
Breakout 95. But yeah, so Cal, what's your first question for Ethan?
so first question. I want to get into the fight a bit. Obviously, you were
uh
Rob, of course. So
yeah. I mean the corner team was like just full of dickheads, like there's this one guy who I spotted on the train back home and I was just seething with anger looking at him. So
Is this Brandon's
uh,
corner?
yeah, Brandon's corner. I have a
Oh,
problem with a couple of his corner. Just I feel like they will want to rob me of my win because obviously I reckon Brandon's not real. And have you guys ever seen Real Steel?
the real
The film with
steel.
Hugh
No,
Jackman.
no, no.
Ah,
Oh,
so
wait, is that
basically,
the
yeah,
robot?
yeah. So basically, I clocked this at the corner of my eye. I clocked one of the team members like throwing the punches. I'm like, hold on, that's not Brandon doing it. So Brandon's an AI robot. He was sent there to destroy me. He's from the future, Terminator style. And quite frankly, I feel like it should count as a win on my record. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, I thought it was a win. I thought you did win that fight.
That's why I told the rep, and he said no, and that's why I obviously got quite angry because I was like, "What do you mean no?" So like I dominated, but I actually can't say it was a straight face.
no, but no, getting on to the question this time.
Yes.
So how did how did like seriously did you take training before the fight?
I, despite what Twitter shows, I actually took the training quite seriously. It's the lifestyle I didn't take seriously.
Okay.
So, because I was training like my actual arse off. It's just like I just got off and do random shit that kind of impacted it. Like
Yeah.
it was like it's like 2 weeks before fight night. I'm in the back of Box Park Wembley with B Dave absolutely off my tits, just like just dancing and
Yeah.
just like I was so like bladdered that night. The thing is, like, I quit drinking for to obviously train boxing,
Okay.
and then I was just like, fuck it, like it's week of my birthday. I want to celebrate, have a good time with friends. I was like, oh, I'll have a few drinks, and a few drinks turned into a tequila shot, my first ever one, and I was gone.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I know, and it's just like I woke up the next morning. I was like, it's fine. I'll do it again tomorrow, and I I did it again tomorrow. And yeah, it was just sort of like little lifestyle things that I shouldn't have done, but I did do, and I feel like that's what impacted it the most. So
Yeah.
So you just got into that cycle of constantly drinking and
uh,
uh,
I wouldn't say constantly because it was literally like 2 days out of like this whole entire like
Yeah.
8-week journey I went on. But it's just
Mm.
that, like, I was extremely busy at the time. I got my job. I had university that I was doing. I had SCB that I was doing. I was training for a boxing fight, and it's just like I literally had no free time to myself pretty much. Like my mates could even tell you I disappeared from them for like 5 months. I still spoke to him
Yeah.
sometimes, but like not as regularly as I like once did and I do now. So it was you find it once you take on so much responsibility, like it is so stressful, especially when you can't talk about the responsibility because
Yeah.
that was my case. Was like I just couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's something I want to get into as well with the not being able to tell anyone about the fight. Would you have rather have been the mystery opponent, or would you rather have been public? Like,
well, it's weird because it's like with mystery opponent is like you can sort of not build yourself up, but there's excitement behind it, and especially within our community, right? I feel like if you were to rank top 10 people least likely to fight, I'm literally like number one, if not number two. So it's sort of like thinking about it, is that like it's that excitement and that like pop
Yeah.
you get, from 'cause obviously, live stream chat that went wild. Obviously the arena, like the place where we're at, no one knew who I was. It was more for the live stream.
Yeah.
mm,
Um Obviously my mate Brooke, who I do boxing space with now, he was obviously in the audience. He was excited to see me. That's all I cared about. I got someone excited, someone who wanted to see me fight. And it's all about, I think I kind of prioritized the whole, um, will not the fighting, but are people willing to see me fight, if that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
ultimately what this scene is, the crossover boxing scene. It's like, no, because like, well, I mean, some people do care if you're good or not, right? But the majority is like, who's excited to see you fight? And it's why majority of our community, they're too focused on being boxers and entertainers. So it's like no one cares,
Yeah.
essentially. It's like I don't care about fucking Callum Vela with 100 followers who chats shit on the internet all day, does absolutely fuck all with his life. Still hasn't fought recently. He did an ultra white collar boxing and then was like, "Yeah, I'm the shit." And like realistically, dude, like there's a whole reason you're not fighting Cowboy next is because no one gives a shit. You had your
Yeah.
one opportunity and you blew it. No one's gonna trust you again. So it's like no one wants to see you fight, mate. Just like log off of Twitter. Focus on your life, focus on your relationship with your girlfriend, and just chill, man. Just like if you want to do boxing, do ultra white collar boxing. You're clearly not made for this scene. So
yeah.
anyway, that's rant over. What was the question again?
Yeah.
I was asking, would you rather been the mystery opponent, or had it been all public and everything, and have your face
If it
so
had
no?
been public, if it had been public, I could have built myself up and I could have probably gained a lot more from being public. But I
Yeah.
feel like I loved the thought of having that, like that fucking like that not Pineda reaction, but like a
Yeah.
Pineda-like reaction, where it's like, oh shit, like he's fighting, and this
Yeah.
I kind of got that with obviously after the fight happened, I was robbed. I go to Twitter, everyone's saying you're a warrior, we love you. Like the AI robot I was up against, like he was getting no love, was he? Like no one was atting him. It's like, oh, Ethan. So like even though I lost, I kind of won in a sense. So
You're the people's champion. That's what
Yeah.
matters.
exactly. It's like I'm on my Deji arc, my Pineda arc, my who else has lost and come back for a win? Uh yeah, I can't think of any more actually.
B
Just Deji
Dave?
and Pineda. B Day, yeah, I mean B Dave arc, I might do a tag team with Brandon. Um I doubt it because I don't want to be a heavyweight, but you know, I feel like
Yeah.
that's the only way I would have another heavyweight match if it was me and Brandon versus two other people.
Yeah.
So
We'll
Yeah,
talk.
well,
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say, let's speak on that. Before Mike keep butting. Let's speak on that quickly. You don't want to be a heavyweight. You want to go down in weight. Do you have anyone on your hit list? Anyone in mind you want to fight?
Anyone? Nah, it's literally. I'm in a position where I feel like I will only now take a fight that actually interests me. It's like I don't want to be
Mm.
thrown up against some fucking guy who has nothing to offer me. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't gain anything from fighting someone with like amateur experience with 50 followers on Twitter. You know, I gain something by fighting someone more close to my level, someone who's willing to put in the work and entertainment I will also put in. You know, someone who's also my experience level. Because don't get me wrong, I knew about Brandon's experience going into this match, but me getting a fight with someone was such a pain in the ass. Like, when it came down to Brandon, I was like, sure, fuck it. This is the only way I'll actually be able to fight on this card.
Yeah.
I don't care about experience, you know. What I care about is just putting on a show. And I feel like that's what happened, you know. It's like Brandon, yeah, he dominated me, right? I still stood there. I still stood tough, you know. I didn't quit on the ground, on the floor. You know, I used the ropes. I bounced myself off the ropes to go back into the fight because I don't quit. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing with me. Is like even when shit gets tough, it's like I still have to, you know, steam on ahead and just you know, prove myself. And I feel like I did do that. I feel like I proved that I do have somewhat of a, you know, like a warrior's mentality. You know, I got
Yeah.
heart. So now it's just all about, you know, becoming better at boxing, quite frankly. So
Yeah.
Mikey, any questions?
Yeah. So we've not really asked this. So how was your nerves during the build up and the ring walk for the fight? Like, was you more confident before the fight and then during the ring walk was you like doubting yourself or
um I had like spikes, if that makes sense. So when obviously Jalum or, you know, Rich would tell you,
yeah.
I used to get off of work at about 9 o'clock. I used to go to the gym about 9:30.
Okay.
And I would just like train at the gym for like 2 hours, like cardio, weights, hitting the bag. And there'll be times where they'll Zoom call me, or they'll call for a Zoom call, right? Like a team
Yeah.
meeting. It's me, Jallum, and Rich. I'm still in these Zoom meetings, you know, but I'm in the gym like hitting the bag or like working out still, and then they're seeing me do that. So it's sorry, what was the question? I've done it again.
The question was, how did your nerves differ? And then was there any points where you kind of doubted yourself during the ring walk?
Okay, yeah, so obviously I'll phone them, right, and I'll basically like I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this, you know, like
Yeah.
I am feeling nervous. I know Brandon's experience is way more than mine because I'm not sure what his experience is exactly. Is it 5 years?
I
I've
think
heard.
he said 15. Is it not 15? 10, 15?
Yeah, 15 means he's doing it fucking 4 years on. I don't really believe that,
Yeah, it's
but
10 or 15, I think he said, but
yeah,
it might be over 10.
I
but
think
it's
yeah,
just that like,
he's
What
done
was
he's
sorry,
that?
done
what was that, Cal?
he's done martial arts for a young time. Boxing, it's not that young.
Yeah,
Oh, so just in
but
total, it's martial arts.
obviously martial arts is still combat experience. Like literally, like
Yeah.
I could tell you this now with a fact. I did not have any combat sport experience till I started boxing about maybe 3, 4 months ago. I
Okay.
think it is at this point.
Yeah.
So it's a fact of like I'm going up against someone who's been doing this their whole life, whereas I'm literally getting out of this gamer chair right now, right? I'm going to the gym and I'm putting in the effort. Like I lost 10 kg during that whole entire camp just by pure like fitness.
Yeah.
So it's obviously, yeah, I had moments of doubt within myself. It's like, fuck, it's like, have I bitten off more than I can chew?
Yeah.
But it's then like I then thought about the positives of it. You know, it's like the whole entertainment aspect, the whole getting me out there. You know, my obviously get myself out there. You know, in
Yeah.
this scene, and it all made sense to me. I mean, and then I sort of when I arrived to Worthing on the Saturday, I was very nervous. And then I get into the changing room, I'm even more nervous, and quite it was quite good though because my changing room, like originally I was supposed to be by myself.
Yeah.
But then that changed, so I was in a changing room with Halford Sucks, Charlie, obviously, and Stu. And Halford literally came up to me and sort of just like not consoled me, like just making sure I was okay. And obviously it's all right to be nervous, stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
he me and him did pads while I was warming up. So he made me feel like, okay, I'm in a position where I go out and fight. I get into the ring, right, and it's mental. I could not hear a single thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Just
really hear
blanked
my
out.
couldn't hear my walkout music. Couldn't really hear what people were saying. All I heard was obviously Brooke, and Brooke was there like he was like he was loving it, so that's what I heard. And then nothing more. I mean, you can even see in the fight clip, the ref pulls off the match, right?
Yeah.
I sit down on my stool and I look over to him as I went to the next round, mate, and he goes, "Nah, it's over." But I didn't hear him call off the fight, so it's
Yeah.
like the nerves really did hit me the second I stepped into the ring, and it sucks because I feel like if I was in a calm position, I would have been in a state where I felt like I would have avoided most of Brandon's punches
Okay.
because I've looked back on the fight and he's really good at like all his straights, and like direct punches to the face. But anytime he would go to the body or go for a hook, he would kind of miss or he'll kind of like throw a wild punch that wouldn't exactly land.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a point where he throws a hook to the body, I think, or a body shot, and it just like it looks like it hits, but it actually completely missed me.
Oh shit.
So it's like I feel like if I wasn't as nervous and more composed, it would have been a very different tale.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's really nerve-wracking getting to that stage, and hopefully next time I do fight, the nerves are gone. I'm
Yeah.
calm, I'm collected, and I'm just ready to showcase what I've learned and what I'm about.
Yeah. Yeah. And going into that fight as well, like obviously you would have thought you were gonna win, but what was your game plan? Like, how did you think you were gonna beat Brandon?
My game plan literally consisted of first round feel it out, you know. So obviously, I'm not lying here when I say Brandon's a big lad, like he
Yeah.
is, and
Yeah.
it's fair. Like I knew, like even I know he lost 10 kg of, you know, for the fight as well. I knew even still he probably would have got gassed by the end of round one, starting round two. And then obviously at that point I would then, pick up the pace and then, start slowly dominating the later rounds. And this was obviously just this is what my coach told me as well,
Yeah.
he was there like big lad, he's going to be because I mean we looked at some of his training footage and it's like yeah he's going to throw wild punches, he's going to gas out, and then you'll be good. And even in sparring, like we literally got someone who's basically like the exact same body type as Brandon.
Okay.
He was a little bit lighter, but obviously he
Yeah.
was also a bit more muscular as well. And he was basically his instructions was like go like full power on Ethan just so he could get used to it.
Yeah.
And so obviously I was kind of used to not someone that we thought would be like Brandon, but obviously going and looking at the fight now, the sparring opponent was nowhere near Brandon's level. It
Yeah.
was just because we saw him, we were like, he's big lad, he throws wild punches, that's about it. And then so that's what I kind of sparred up against, and I was fine, like I was able to get the upper hand on it in sparring.
Yeah.
But obviously, in sparring, no one's watching it at home, no one's in there to watch me, so I can be, calm and collected. So it's just a case of your nerves hit and your game plan goes out the fucking window. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
Are you still training? Like as of now?
I've been on a break for about a month now,
Okay.
It's just because obviously doing boxing, I stopped doing many of the things I actually like doing. I stopped playing games, I stopped hanging out with my friends, and it's like it was that thing was I came back and I'm like, I just missed my old life.
Yeah.
And like boxing's done a world of good to me. I've lost 10 kilograms in the space of 2 months, right? I probably like I probably am in the fittest shape of my life because obviously I never really used to be like that fit or like
Yeah.
athletic, Like I enjoyed my 1 hour week of PE at school and that was about it. So it's like I got into a state where I was like, yeah, I'm physically good, but like mentally it was like I do just miss a lot of stuff. And so I'm kind of going back into what I love to do.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, even now, like I've just brought myself like a new PC to play, games for my mates,
Yeah.
pretty beefy one. You know, I mean, I'm going to start actually making content on games that I play because that's always what I've wanted to do. And I think I found my style now of what I want to do in terms of
Okay.
gaming videos. So like hopefully last leg of the year, you know, like the autumn going into winter months, I'm actually going to be doing regular content, which would be so good because it'll be
Yeah.
for myself and not for SCB. Because I've spent like this last couple months just doing solely SCB content, you know, interviews, you know, the full all that stuff, and it's like it now feels rewarding because obviously I've left SCB if you know no one's heard of it yet. I went with Jalum, and it just finally feels rewarding to do something for myself and not for a team, I guess.
Yeah.
So you know that's it's something I've always wanted to do. I feel like SCB helped me learn a bit more about how to do it, and now that I've left, I could take those skills and transfer it to myself personally, and just you know carry on from there.
Yeah. So just quickly before I let Cal ask some questions, so I take it your future plans, like obviously you do want to fight again, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometime next year.
Yeah. But I take it your main focus now is just going to be on creating your content and doing your own thing.
Yeah, because the way I see it, right, is my sort of initial plan was like, oh, you know, just like not be a Twitter guy, but like,
Yeah.
you know, try and bang on Twitter, you know, try and get popular from there and then try transfer it somewhere. But obviously, Most Wanted, I think everyone knows him here, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's done that already. And it's like what like I'm not here to be Most Wanted 2 or Most Wanted Junior.
Yeah.
I'm here to just be myself. So it's like I've sort of had to change plans, you know, go on my own track, you know, just like because Most Wanted, he's done it, he's been successful with it, you know, he's in
Yeah.
talks with Misfits, Global Titans, people like that, and it's just like he found the key to success, and I don't think anyone else would do that. So I've decided, you know, to change from what my plan originally was and just do like obviously my YouTube content, and then hopefully that takes me somewhere because you know the end goal of this is always like maybe I will fight on Misfits one day,
Yeah.
but it's all about not waiting for that lucky opportunity to get on there, but actually putting myself out there and making myself different from everyone else. You know, it's like, it's quite frankly, no one wants to see a bunch of Twitter keyboard warriors fighting Misfits. They want to see entertaining personalities. You know, people like Unbear. You know, smaller creator, and all of a sudden he's on Misfits because he got recognized, right? And now he is main eventing the prelims coming up in Nashville.
Yeah.
And you know, if he wins this match, he might even be Misfits main card material. So it's like you need to make yourself not a character, but entertaining enough that despite your clout or following, people will still watch you and you specifically do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Which is where obviously Most Wanted's found his success. People want to see him fight on Misfits. Unbear's found success. They now want to see him fight on Misfits. And there's a bunch of other people I am forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry. But those are the two that stick out the most in my mind.
So, real quick, I want to go back to the fight with Brandon. Did you know about his leg injury?
His leg injury, yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah. So, did that obviously with him having more experience with you? Did the leg injury like play a factor in you accepting the fight or being more confident with that fight at all?
Uh, Quite honest, I accepted the fight, then found out about the leg injury.
Okay.
Oh,
But even then, it's there. Like you know, he still has a couple weeks to, you know, it could still heal. You know, he could, and like, I mean, Brandon was still bouncing around in that ring. You know, leg injury or not. So it's like, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter.
yeah,
But it was definitely a thing where it's like, okay, I might, if something happens to his leg, you know, that's like what he'll get. The match will get called off if he was to like, you know, take like the fall and it's a problem with his leg. Obviously, it'll be a bit of a fraudulent win for me, but it's a win nevertheless. So it's there, like, it was that risk of like, I could like try and, you know, put pressure onto him, or I could just let him take himself out.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, because I think his leg went later on during the night. Am I right, Cal?
yeah.
I remember going back to his changing room because I heard about it. So I don't know why I went over to his changing room. I heard he had an injured leg. Maybe it was to gloat a bit, like, oh, you know, you won the battle, but I've won the war, mate. You know, nice leg. But it's
You're,
like
remember, yeah,
obviously went to his
backstage.
changing room, and I was just like, I was like, "Oh, you right, bro?" It's like, "What's up to your leg then?" And then we got talking. And we're kind of good from there. So yeah, but
Yeah,
it's something that I knew, but it didn't really affect or change too much, to be
Yeah.
completely honest. So
yeah, okay, that's fair enough then. And I had another question. Oh yeah, what got you into? First of all, what got you like involved in SCB, but then what got you into boxing or influence of boxing in general?
okay, so I will start with influencer boxing because that happened before SEB, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So influencer boxing, it's 2017, peak diss track season, Sidemen. It's
Oh
like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
KSI's got a fight with Joella. I was there like, I've never really taken interest in boxing before. The most experience I had with boxing was the fucking Wii Sports boxing, right?
yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, oh, it's like these two guys, they're gonna fight. I'm like, I'm kind of interested in this. It was coming off of the Two Birds One Stone diss track.
Yeah.
mm,
And that's when tension sort of rose. You had Upload event where they had a press conference that got
Yeah.
heated, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm excited for a fight. And then obviously I knew kind of nothing about the undercard until the night. But then I watched the event and I was like, holy shit, I'm there like I kind of like this boxing thing. And obviously the Logan Paul fight happens, Logan Paul 2 fight happens.
Yeah.
And then after that my interest kind of dies down. I watched Social Gloves for Deji. I watched Showstar for Deji, and that's all I really cared about. And obviously Misfits came up. And with Misfits, I feel like something in my mind sort of flipped on when I first watched that first show. Because I was there in person, and like I remember sitting there with all my mates, hearing the crowd. I'm there like, and in my mind, I was like, "Holy shit! I kind of want to do something like this because the atmosphere is unreal."
Yeah.
Like 20,000 people in an arena just like watching you, and it's like that might make me sound like big-headed. Like I want 20,000 people to watch me. I see it more as I want to entertain and show 20,000 people a good time.
Yeah.
Sounds
yeah.
slightly dodgy, I realize now, but it's in my head is where like I feel like at heart I've always wanted to be like an entertainer,
Yeah.
and I just saw boxing as another way to entertain people because what like who doesn't love a scrap? Like fucking back in school, like every time you'll hear fights happening, everyone's crowded around like the field. I remember one time there was two kids who kept saying they were gonna have a fight, right? They managed to get like the whole entire school like packed in this one tiny area, a massive circle around them, and then they just start having a dance battle. And it's like I've always like I really just want to entertain people and
Yeah.
just like make sure everyone's laughing because I like to think of myself as like kind of a naturally funny person. Like I'm
Oh,
just like I will say things even if it makes me sound dumb if it gets a laugh out of one person just because I know that one person will then have a positive memory of me.
Yeah.
So I've always been about entertaining, and then I just saw boxing as a way to combine entertainment and scraps. So
The best of both worlds.
exactly. I mean, how I got involved with SCB was it was about I want to say November 2022.
mm,
Scrolling through Twitter, and I just see this thing called SCB, and I was like, I think the first post I saw was it was Callum Hodgkiss versus Jabril was called off,
Oh yeah.
mm.
and I was like, oh, I was like, wouldn't this be funny if I did that? And then so I messaged the SCB account. I was like, oh yeah, I can make a light heavyweight 80 kg. Bear in mind at this point I was like 106 kg, right? I was not making light heavyweight. I don't know what crack I was smoking. I think I was hoping just to, like show up, right? Show up there, weigh in, like, oh, you're a bit of weight. It's like, oh, you can't really call it off now, though, can you? So I think that's what my plan going into it was. But obviously that never came to fruition. Don't know
Yeah.
why. Literally no clue. And then obviously JST vs Anton got called off. I was like, oh, I can fight, heavyweight. And we go, oh, we've already found someone. It's Jack Shorey, right? Jack Shorey gets fucking annihilated in the second white collar boxing match. So they were like, do you want to fight Anton? I was like, of course I fucking do. Anton then gets jumped by a bunch of people and gets injured, so he couldn't even fight.
Yeah.
And this was even before that fight. That's before my fight with Anton could have even been announced. It's like I would have much preferred if they just announced it. Anton gets jumped, and it's like I still get a bit of a boost from being a fighter,
Yeah.
and I don't have to get my face smashed in. So, but obviously, I made a promise to Connor. I was like, fighting or not, I will be up there. And then it came to about a week before SCB. It's like, yo, bro, you still coming up? I'm like, shit. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I just worked a shit ton of overtime at work for Christmas. I have like quite a bit of money just to spend. I was like, I'll just go up to Derbyshire, like especially during January, that whole trip cost like 100 quid,
Yeah.
and that's a train to London. No, that was obviously train strikes happened, certain fighters couldn't get back like Jalum because he had no trains in his area, despite what Nathan said on Twitter, and it was essentially had to get coached to London, stay in London for one night, get a train from London to Derby, stay in Derby for 2 nights, and then get the train back home, and that cost me like 150 quid. So
Not bother.
relatively inexpensive. So like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'll do it. I get there. I was tasked with putting together the live stream. Obviously, didn't do a good job because we all know how that how that went out. And that's sort of how I met the whole entire team. That's how I met Finn, who was obviously fighting. That's how I met Tolster, who was fighting. That's how I met Rich. That's how I met Nathan and Connor. And sort of from there, I got taken as just someone who was there, so like a team member of the
Yeah.
team. And it's just went crazy from there. Obviously, I got invited to go Misfits weigh-ins with the team. And that's how I made my connection with B Dave because I remember obviously B Dave's way in, he starts fighting Little Man. And I
Yeah.
was standing next to him recording it, and I said to him, I was like, what the fuck's going on, mate? And he goes, I don't know. And I still got talking to him, and he was like, do you want to interview with B Dave? I was like, yeah, sure. And he was his cameraman.
Yeah.
And then spoke to B Dave then. And then sort of I speak to him every now and again, and I interview him quite a bit as well at these
Yeah.
events. I was that's that connection I made, and it's like that wouldn't have happened without SCB. I could guarantee it. And like after my fight, I remember I spoke to B Dave, and he was like, "Dude, I'm just proud of you. From where you came from to where you are now. Don't quit, because obviously you have to lose at some point." And he even said to me, "He was like, the only fight I've watched on SCB was yours. The others I didn't really care about."
Yeah.
So it's just there, like, it's nice that even when putting in hard work, I'm getting recognition from higher up people. Like
Yeah.
over at Flow, like tweet, he replied back to me saying, "I'm proud of you for your fight, bro." So it's just that like I feel like because of SCB and because of boxing and because of influencer boxing, I'm in a position where I don't even think, me 8 years ago who wanted to be YouTube when he grew up could ever think he'd be in. And yeah, I'm not the biggest right now, right? But I feel like I have the foundation to actually like take off. And if I just apply myself and do this
Yeah.
and do what I love, I could be on a Misfit stage in like 2, 3 years time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. Going to, as you're just saying then about making content and wanting to be an entertainer. Um, there's a lot of people going to be interested in that, and because you are a very naturally funny person. When can we expect to see the content start coming?
I'm gonna give you a projection of September,
Okay.
but it could literally happen like any time. It's just I have to get my PC has to come here. I kind of need to learn the software a bit. I did do a media course like 4 years ago, but like fucking hell, like I don't remember any of it. Like
Yeah.
I could kind of scrape together something in Premiere Pro, but that's about it. So I'd say expect to see content later September, but it could just be any time, and I'll tweet about it. I'll be like, "Oh, new video out," and it will just be. I feel like I kind of want to go with mainly gaming content because I can kind of make that funny in a sense
Yeah.
because obviously I also don't really have the resources to do shit like sketch comedy. Like I'm recording on a fucking 720p webcam right now
Yeah.
with a headset. So like I feel like if I just stick with gaming, and then if my content evolves, it evolves. If I find my niche and I like it, I'll stick with it. But I can really go anywhere with content, I might even still do boxing content. I'll do it for Brook at the boxing space.
Oh yeah,
Just because obviously I do like the idea of, like separating the boxing and the other stuff. And then
yeah,
obviously when they need to be combined, they get combined. But I feel like where most people have shortcomings in this space is when they make exclusively content about influencer boxing, they have exclusively influencer boxing fans. And obviously, if you have these fans watch events anyway, like they'll even watch events that they don't care about anyone on them. They just want to see influencer boxing. And it's like you're not bringing anything to these companies by having influencer boxing fans who would have already seen their event, You
yeah,
need to really make yourself like you need to diversify yourself, which is obviously what Most Wanted has done, He's obviously he's mainly known as like a Twitter space guy, but he doesn't just do influencer boxing Twitter spaces. He's on so many, and it's kind of unreal because you'll see like he interacts with like so many different communities. But these communities will then follow him, who will then see his influencer boxing stuff. So it's all about bringing that crowd of people who like you as a person into the scene,
yeah.
rather than people who are fans of the scene caring about you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And obviously, you've done interviews with SEB, like you mentioned as well. When you first started doing interviews, was you nervous? And how did doing interviews help you grow confidence?
Um, I don't know if I was nervous or not, but like I literally did not prepare. Even right now, every interview I've done, I have not prepared what I'm saying. I literally go because I know if I prepare what I'm saying, right, it sounds maybe like a bit too robotic and maybe like oh da 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 da, you doing this, doing that, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Whereas I feel like if you initiate like a conversation like this is right now, you can sort of if you don't have that game plan, I guess, of an interview, you can take what they said in one question and then morph that into another question.
yeah,
And that flows more like a natural conversation. I feel like people rather sometimes people do want to see interviews where they ask like hard hitting questions, But sometimes it's nice just to, watch an interview where it's just like two guys talking about, one topic. Like that's how my Over That Flow interview went. It's I literally just initiated like it was a conversation. I asked him one question to start off with, and we went from point A to point B. We went from obviously talking about the Happy Punch prelims to a Happy Punch's own event to Overt's boxing to then talk about Jake Paul's knockout against Tyron Woodley.
yeah,
So it's like Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul did not come in, doesn't naturally slot into there, but because of what he had mentioned in the past during that conversation, you can mold it into it so it seems more natural. So I've always had the mindset of like, if I don't prepare questions, I just do it in the moment. I feel like that's the most genuine and raw expression of what I'm feeling at that moment. And that's what I'm kind of all about. It's nice to, some people need a script, right? I feel like I don't. And I feel like that's where like I excel when I could just speak from the heart or, and speak my mind essentially.
yeah. I was waiting for Cal to speak, but he froze.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah. No, I cut out from it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
It's the sexiness.
yeah.
Exactly, like the Wi-Fi down here can't handle it, Cal. That's why. Well, is he trying to rizz me up?
Oh man. Right, so that's put me off track now. So I want to ask as well, do you have a favorite interview that you've done out of all the interviews?
Um, ooh, it's probably gonna be I'm gonna group them all as Misfits 7 interviews because those three
Okay.
interviews I've done are my favorites. Because Unbear, Unbear gave me so much to work with in his interview. He
Yeah.
was like pretending to be Borat, and like I could kind of take that and like
Work
so
with
obviously I'm a fan of both Borat films, and I've seen like some of the sketches Sacha Baron Cohen's done as Borat,
it.
and I could maybe try and emulate what the people who were getting interviewed by Borat were feeling, but as like a reverse in that
Yeah.
sense. And so I was like, I love that one because it's like I could kind of play a bit of a character there because he's playing a character.
Yeah.
And it's like near the end of it, we start like fucking like kissing at the end. It's just like under no normal circumstance would I have done that in an interview, but because it was him playing a character, I could feed into it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously the Boogie interview was a personal one for me because Boogie was like that was like he's he's not even just a pillar in the fucking YouTube scene. He's a whole goddamn mountain in the YouTube
Yeah.
boxing scene.
Yeah.
Fat joke aside there, but it's like obviously I used to watch him as a kid, so it's like
Same.
getting to interview and actually speak to him was like so surreal. And then obviously my conversation was over. I got to speak to him a lot more about, at the time I was really heavily involved with SCB and running a promotion. And then so is he in a sense. And so like I could kind of talk to him about that, about we could talk about the like how tough things behind the scenes can be, and we could talk about the positive aspects of stuff. So it's those three interviews are my favorites. Obviously I've done my B-Day interviews. I love those just because like I could go in there and know like me and him, like I feel like we're at sort of a bit of a stage where it's like I could say anything to him and he'll say anything back to me. I don't have to worry about stepping on eggshells constantly. But I do feel that during some interviews. It's like I should probably be careful, like what some things that I say, because it's just like I don't want to, upset anyone or like
Yeah.
ask a question that's like a bit too personal. So it was like an interview with Val Brooke is that like I really want to make a Brock Lesnar joke, but I was like, I don't think I could do that to her face because she could probably murder me right now.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just one of those things where it's like the interviews that work best for me and I enjoy the most are ones where I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing with the person. So,
Yeah.
which is
And
what it's why I forced Nathan to do the Pineda interview. Because I was like, yeah, fuck that language barrier. I'm talking to a translator. I just can't. So I was like, I pushed Nathan. I was like, Nathan, do it, do
You
it. You're here
you
to do
only need to say
interviews.
one word. Vamos.
Vamos! I'm ready. Uh, I've actually got a funny story about this, lads. I'm going to tell you now. I've kind of mentioned it before, but I've never really told the full story of it.
Mm.
And it's I was up in Misfits 5 in Telford, right?
All right.
And it's me and a few other people. We're just sat in the hotel lobby of a Holiday Inn, right? And fucking all we see is it was like 3 a.m. We see Pineda storm to the front desk and he's like talking to him. But obviously he's speaking like Spanish to him, so obviously they didn't understand. So we had to get Pineda's translator, and we're all kind of just like sat there wondering what's going on. One of them had just like kept going vamos to him, and Pineda kept smiling back. And we hear his translator goes like, "Oh yeah, Pineda's like having heart problems, like having like heart palpitations." And I was like, I feel like it was so funny that like someone's screaming vamos at him while he could be potentially like in serious medical risk.
Yeah.
And this was like the night before the tag team match. So I was told by someone like, oh, you should tweet this on the Boxers Space account. That would really like bang
These.
likes and interactions. So I tweeted out saying breaking news. Uh Pineda's like in the hotel lobby, Pineda's having heart problems. Paramedics are being called to the scene. And that was the worst fucking mistake of my life because it blew up instantly. And everyone's going, oh my god, Pineda, like it's tag team match off. There's Fox the G was like ringing up Most Wanted saying, yo, is everything okay and stuff like that. And so I delete the tweet, so there's so much hassle I've just caused. And then I get a fucking message in the morning from Brooke saying, by the way, DAZN is suing us for $5,000 because what you tweeted for like technically
Shit.
defamation. I'm like, shit. I thought I was getting sued, right? So I was calling up Brooke and like, Brooke, like, we need to sort this out. And it got to the point where
I was hacked.
one of them calls me just absolutely like bursting out of laughter. I was like, what's going on? He was like, you've been Tom, Dick, and Harried, mate. And they were just trolling me about this whole suing thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
for like a solid 4 hours, I thought I was being sued by DAZN and I was going to have to pay them so much money to settle it. But lucky that's not the case. But me and Brooke still make jokes about it to this day because
Yeah.
it's such a funny incident. And I feel like in that moment, that kind of solidified my, I would say me and Brooke are friends, And it's that moment where I realized, like, yeah, I feel like I'm kind of mates with this guy now. So that's like my little exclusive story about Pineda.
Yeah. Do you think it was just nerves with Luis Pineda? That's why he was getting heart palpitations. Maybe like an anxiety attacker.
uh, I don't know, to be honest. Like, obviously, I can't really ask the guy, can I? But I don't think it's nervous. I think it's just like, you know, even sometimes I feel like I'm having them. I'm like, oh, like I hear like I feel my heart just pump once and then stop. I'm like, oh my god, is it finally time? Am I going? And then it starts up again. I'm like, shit, not this time. So, but yeah, it's just like it's one of those things where it's like, it's sort of just like it's kind of a funny moment that like not many people know about, and but it's a funny anecdote I do like to tell because it does make people laugh because it's like imagine me like getting sued by DAZN. That's fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's
uh,
crazy.
yeah. So another question I want to ask as well. Yeah, Misfits, Yebble, small creator scene. Do you have any like dream matchups you'd like to see? You could pick some fights.
well, as in like dream matchups of like any fight, or like that would include me.
Any fight, any fight.
Any fight. Oh, so I've already said B-Dave Bryce Hall on obviously SCB. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for a Deji vs Swarms. Not
Oh yeah.
no, that's already happened.
Yeah, I was
Fuck.
already saying,
I
I was literally worried, but like, did not just happen.
I reverse that. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to see a Deji versus Pineda. It's like like say what you want about Pineda, but like it'd be nice to see. It's like KSI went up against Pineda.
Yeah.
KSI is Deji's brother. Um, how would Deji fare against it? KSI and Deji have very two distinct fighting styles. KSI is wild and like sort of unorthodox, whereas Deji's more. I'd say Deji's a more traditional boxer out of the two.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah, yeah.
KSI's style works better for KSI. I feel like Deji still needs a bit more time to hone and improve his his style of just being like sort of more of a traditional boxer, I guess you could say. So I feel like Deji versus Pineda would be a very good matchup, sticking it up against someone with a bit of pro experience. Whether he's bad or not is a different tale. If KSI fought him, Deji can.
Yeah.
I don't know how I literally, and that's the one where it's like, how would the audience react? Will they be cheering Deji? Will they be cheering Pineda? Will they be cheering both?
Yeah.
Like which one will get booed the most at that stadium?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, as a fan, it's there like, who do you really side with? Do you side with fan favorite Pineda or fan favorite Deji? And I feel like most people with fancy matchups never put two fan favorites together,
Yeah.
like at all. Like, say what you want about Anthony Taylor, right? He's coming to his own as a fan favorite, but so many still give him a bit of disrespect and still
Yeah.
don't really see him
True.
as a fan or as like they don't really enjoy him because
Yeah.
he got booed heavily against Idris Virgo. He still got booed against Salt Pappy. But that's testament to Salt Pappy as well. He is already a fan favorite within such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like sticking two fan favorites together, you're gonna get a very weird, not a weird atmosphere, but you're gonna get like an audience that's a bit conflicted and contested.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then for the small creator scene, any dream matchups there?
small creator scene. Oh, uh that's the thing. It's a weird one because it's there like with a small creator scene. I feel like they're very likely to happen as well, like dream matchups.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it, Jalen versus Nathan. I don't think it will ever happen at this point. I just want to see that fight. I see the back and forth on Twitter. I do
Yeah.
try to stoke the flames a bit for that fight. I can't lie. I'm a bit of an instigator when it comes to that one, but I just want to see him scrap. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
really do. No, I couldn't give a shit about Brandon versus Tommy Pinkerton, right? I couldn't give a shit about Nathan versus TikTok nonce number 4. Cowboy versus Lesnar, like if they ever fight, that's going to be huge. I'm going to enjoy that one. But I feel like that one could happen. But I don't think Nathan versus Jalen would. I really do want to contest and push for Nathan versus Jalen. because that is like, yeah, Janum's one of my best mates, but like I'm still cool with Nathan,
Yeah.
despite what I try and stoke the flames on Twitter with, I'm alright with Nathan. So it's like it's one of those ones where it's like I just want to see these two people who they clearly want to fight each other, but there's something that either gets lost in not translate, it gets something that gets lost in the conversation, or
Mm.
one of them's unwilling to fight the other. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like I want to see it happen, but I don't think it ever would. But that's like
Yeah.
it's one that I can only dream of, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's I'm gonna have to like knock myself out at night and just try and lucid dream it happening. Because speaking about lucid dreaming, I had a crazy dream about my second boxing match.
Really?
Yeah, literally, this is what inspired me to start wanting to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
I had a dream where it was me, Finn, and Jallum. We were in London, right? And all of a sudden, Finn's like, "Oh, you can pack your stuff. We're going off to a white collar event. You're fighting in like a couple hours." And then I sort of like I sort of dreamt the whole entire like build up bit in like a short 30-minute period of this boxing match, and it's sort of like it was that feeling that I got from dreaming that, but I was like, oh shit, maybe I do want to box again. Because there was a while where I did want to quit, right? Or take
Yeah.
a big break. But I'm already making plans to get back into the gym soon just because of that one dream.
Mm.
So yeah, it's like I'm not sure if you guys have ever experienced that, but like I always get dreams where like I'll dream about something that I feel like deep down I want to do, but it's not really in the forefront. But because I dream about it, it sort of flips over and that becomes the forefront. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm very inspired. Like I could get inspired quite easily. Like I could see someone do something and be like, I can do that. Why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I saw it with Misfits. Like, oh, I could do something like that one day maybe. And I kind of have with SCB, but I now have to take the bigger steps to work my way up that ladder. So it's
Yeah.
I think I just find it naturally easy to get inspired by stuff. I know some people can struggle, but it's just like I feel like that's an advantage for me is like I can just like see something and want to do it because it's like an instinct reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, well, come on. It's Ethan Redemption season. You're going to get a winner's medal with one of these. You know what I'm saying?
That's my medal, by the way.
I know, I know. But by the way, everyone knows.
Mikey, do you want to know the story behind this whole thing though? Like this goes way back to even before the event. So when we Rich brought to us the idea of medals, right?
All right.
And I was adamant against losers not getting medals. I was like, no, like I
I
don't think we
agree.
should do it. Yeah, exactly. We should only give it to winners because they won. And obviously, it got decided that losers have medals, right? I mean, I literally straight up said to Rich, like, Rich, if I lose, I'm not accepting that medal either way. And he goes, oh, your mind will change. I lost, and I see Rich afterwards. He's like, you haven't collected your medal. I was like, I don't fucking want it, mate. I was like, I didn't win. He's like, well, he's gonna have it. And I looked to my right, and Cal sat there. I literally just put it over Cal. I was like, Cal won. You know, he coached the winning opponent. It's
Yeah.
his medal. And it's one of those things where I take pride in, like if I'm losing, I shouldn't be rewarded. I shouldn't have something commemorate it, I
Yeah.
guess. It should be a thing that's in my mind that motivates me to want to win a medal.
Yeah.
And like if I win my next boxing match and I win a medal, it'd be like that's a testament to me winning, not a testament to me showing up.
Yeah.
So that's like the mindset I've always had. And it's maybe it's because like that's how my parents always liked me, is they're like,
Yeah.
I think I sort of grew up in that time where like if you lost, you just lost, you
Same.
didn't get
Yeah.
anything for yeah. And but it's like nowadays, like, oh, you lost, but you still get this. So it's like
Yeah.
participation's like, no, me participating isn't why I should win awards. My victory should be why I win awards.
Yeah.
So because you don't see like fucking in boxing, you don't see IBF like world loser belt, do you? It just doesn't exist,
Yeah.
but you see world champion belts. So the way I see it is like only the best of the best should get awarded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But
Well,
I feel like you should have to compete. But to be fair, I deserve this. I had a purple
yeah,
band and stuff.
you do. You cornered Brandon. You did your real still. You did all the movements for Brandon, and You know, I mean, you should take Brandon's medal next time you see him. But oh, mate, hand it over.
Yeah. No, I was actually telling him to go to the body at that point. I know a lot of people were making memes out of it. But yeah, I was actually when I was boxing, I was telling Brandon to go body. There was a reason behind it. I wasn't just amped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, it's because I didn't guard my body whatsoever in that match. It was my guard was like way too high just up here, and it's like luckily, like when he was throwing body shots, they would just barely touch me, so I wasn't actually affected by him. But if I was if I was an inch closer to Brandon, I would have been right to the side of my right to my sides, obviously, and that's close to like a liver shot, and like if I got liver shotted, I would have been devastated.
Yeah, but I noticed that. Now, I'm not saying to take digs at you and anything, but like when the bell.
I noticed it myself. Like even like during my match, I was like, because like in my mind, I was still like, where am I guarding? You know, he's going for face more than the body, so I'm gonna keep my guard up at my face. And every time I go for a body, like I don't know, I just wouldn't react because I wasn't getting hit. And I feel like that's where kind of the head guard did fuck me up a bit. Because obviously, when he was throwing like his fucking side shots to the head, right? I got head guard protecting me, so my brain doesn't register I'm getting hit. If that makes sense, because it's protected. I feel like if I was to fight without a head guard, I'd kind of be more effective because I'd be able to react more because, oh shit, like my head hurts. Time to move the head a bit, you know, time to punch off the center line, and it's just because I don't want to blame like the rules and like what we went with, right? Because that's just a loser's game. But it's better like it's certain things where like without a head guard, I feel like the match would have been different because I would have played it differently because of my circumstances, you know. And same thing with Brandon. I bet you if he didn't fight in a head guard, he would have changed his plan up like massively because you know there's that layer of protection that like you do have to protect, and even with a head guard, you still do have to protect it. It's just like my brain is like, oh, I'm not actually getting hit, so I don't need to defend myself. So
yeah, but as I was saying, in the corner when the bell went and everything, I noticed as Brandon was even as he was like fainting stuff, your hands were like immediately like going up. So that's what I was saying. I was saying like go to the body. Like what they were yamming. I couldn't confirm if most of the body shots you handed, but like I was saying, your hands were going up, so the game plan was to go to the body.
Yeah. Actually, I could tell that because like he starts going because I've tortured myself to watch the match again, and like it's like I literally just like I noticed it's like there's a certain point where like he stopped going for headshots and he focused on body, but because of I had like a bit of a reach advantage on him and a bit of a height advantage, they weren't landing. But obviously, if I was if I was playing the match more, if I was playing the fight more aggressively, I would have been in range for his body shots, and I would have got fucked up so much quicker. So I feel like my advantage of that match was my height and reach, and while I didn't utilize it, it helped me not get as hurt as I probably should have got in that match, to be quite honest. And you know, it allowed me to go on longer because I reckon a few body shots I would have been fucked. Honestly, it's
no. Mikey, any questions?
This isn't really to do with the fight, right? But can you give us your best Riz line for Cal? Can you try and Riz up Cal? Give us your best line.
Oh, I don't think I can. Oh my god, I went blank. You can't ask me. That's the thing. I can't Riz on command, right? I Riz on accident.
Oh yeah. It's all good.
Like
it is pressure. I did come out of nowhere with it.
I have accidental Riz, like because I'll say something I don't mean, and it's like, oh, I kind of came off in like a bit of a flirtatious way.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Yeah, sorry, I can't perform my best Riz because I'm not in the situation for my Riz, you know. I'm not in my element right now.
True.
There's two lovely men sat in front of me, and it's too much man to handle. So
there's too much testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like I'd say not enough testosterone as is coursing through Tommy Royderton's body right now. But, you know, we could almost rival it if we were to get Brandon in here. So
Right, what's your opinion on that, by the way? Right, so do you think he is on steroids?
oh no, it just pisses him off, so it's funny.
Yeah,
That's why I still do it because fair enough, I accept like he's a very physically fit dude, right? He has been doing football, he's done boxing for a long time, despite what others have said. Because I have literally heard phone conversations and recordings of him like saying, "Oh, he's had like a couple years experience over Halford." He's had that experience over Halford, right? Been, he's been in football for a long time.
yeah,
And it's one of those things where it's where like, yeah, his body probably is natural because that's years of work and effort.
yeah,
But it is just funny to call him a roid head because he gets so triggered by it.
yeah. Like the
Like,
one thing.
I'm actually such a troll though, because I know I'll probably never see Tommy Pinkerton in my life. He's not gonna do shit to me, really, is he? Like, I could troll him what I want. I'd never accept a fight against him because he's fucking nobody.
Yeah,
Like he had such a good chance to build himself up against Halford, right? And just fucked it because he didn't do anything.
yeah,
It's like I feel it's mental because like my fucking with me, it's that like I was a mystery opponent, and there was still more excitement for me fighting than him, who had 8 weeks of build up against arguably the biggest person we would ever have on a card. Because I don't think we'll see the likes of a Bad Boy Beam or a Halford Sucks again on SCB, just because it was like getting Bad Boy was such a circumstantial thing, that it's like Tommy had such a good chance to like actually build himself up and just
yeah,
didn't. And it's like even then he was still like after the whole SCP-002 ended, he was trying to get built up by people in the team as like a content creator, but it's clear that's not what he wants to do in life. And like that's too many resources going to someone who doesn't deserve it. The people who do deserve it are your Dan Talks Fightings, right? Your Brandons, who create content regularly or as regular as they can, and someone who should be, people like Cowboy as well, and people you should be
yeah.
pushing to that next level. Like I feel like honest to God, I reckon we see Cowboy in a Misfits event within like the next couple of years. He's garnered the attention from people like Mams Taylor, and I reckon we'll see him take that next step. And especially with this Halford event that's coming on, right?
Yeah.
I think has Jallum spoke about that yet?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure
How,
he mentioned it when he
yeah,
came on the podcast.
but it's like with Halford's event, because that personally, no, it's not even me trying to shit on like SCB because I've left now.
Yeah.
I still have love for SCB as a fan. That's why I went back and done an interview because it's that like I still want to see this thing do well, even if I'm not directly involved with it. Because
Yeah.
it'd be nice to see it as a fan for once. Because I've been so involved with it in like the first
For
two
so long.
events, that
Yeah.
I couldn't be a fan. And it's like, but Halford's is going to be a step above us because you'll have the likes of Halford and like people he knows within the Facebook gaming community. So I reckon we could even see Cowboy Max, Cowboy, the Facebook streamer. So
Yeah.
it's
True.
like
True.
that's I think that's Cowboy's next steps. Obviously, I reckon he'll be on 003, but he might be on Halford's thing or like in the future, and then he might be on Misfits in the near like future. So it's like those are the people we should be promoting, not Tommy Pinkerton, who I'm gonna say doesn't deserve it. So you can force someone to do it all you want, right? It's like
Yeah.
industry plants never work.
Yeah.
Like in music, it doesn't work because it feels forced. It doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
Whereas I will watch a Brandon video, right, and I feel like I'm watching something that he loved making and he loved creating. So it's like same thing with Dan Talks Fighting, same thing with Cowboy, same thing with Halford, and so on and so forth. When you have content that feels like it's being generated by a machine, it really shows. And it's the same thing why like I didn't like BuzzFeed videos. Because you remember you always see BuzzFeed videos like Watch
Yeah.
Mojo Top Tens,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
so soulless, and it's not truly YouTube at that point. It's something else. And so like I feel like YouTube kind of lost its way with its expression and its form of expression, but it's kind of come back in a sense. Especially when you see videos by like Gideon, right? He gets millions of views, right? And it's just
Yeah.
him and his mate. They thought of an idea. they take the camera around and they do the video. It's not like
Yeah.
it's where I feel like the sidemen have I lost interest because it now feels part of a corporate machine.
I
Where
agree.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like it's another studio video. They're in a studio, they're doing Tinder. I couldn't care less. I've seen Tinder once. I don't need to see it another 5 times. And I feel like they excel when they create something like even the holiday videos I love, they feel kind of stale. I like it when they just do a new idea and it's like, because I can sit down and watch it. Like, I feel like they enjoyed making this.
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah. You can tell when a creator is more
yeah,
for the content than like being forced to do it.
exactly. And it's like, I kind of like Logan Paul's podcast, right?
Oh, impulsive,
But
yeah.
yeah, but it's there, like, it kind of feels like he got sort of roped into that.
Yeah,
Because the first couple episodes were a bit wank, I didn't really like them. But now it kind of feels like he's taken something that was corporate machine made, right, and kind of
yeah,
spun it to something that he enjoys doing. Because it's like I'll watch through an episode and like he doesn't like it'll be half time like the guest is like irrelevant to the conversation that's going on and it's just
yeah,
him and Mike just
yeah,
dicking about. And it's like in that I feel like that's like kind of it's turned that corporate machine into something that's expressive. And it's the
yeah,
same thing that's happened with Smosh recently. Obviously, Ian and Anthony are back together. They
yeah,
both own Smosh, and they're both going back to what their bread and butter. They're no longer part of this, Defy media or this Rhett and Link corporate machine. That pumping out videos every single week. They're taking the time to actually write and make these videos. It's like not as regular as they used to be, but
yeah,
you could get more genuine content out of that.
yeah,
So obviously, my point was like SCB should focus on building the people who genuinely want to be content creators, and not the people that are just friends with people within the team.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
So obviously you mentioned some names there, Dan Cowboy. What about the American side? Is there any like names there that you think deserve more credit than they're actually getting?
Um, I can't lie. The America side is where I feel like most of these Twitter keyboard warriors come from, but most of them want to be Twitter keyboard warriors, if that makes sense. It's like Ant Mills doesn't give a shit about Misfits, right? He just wants to fight, and that I could kind of respect.
Yeah.
But it's obviously the thing is with Pat, right? Is I love Pat's show that I used to do the Pat for Mash show, was it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like that, I
And
think.
it's like he stopped it to do breakup. It's like, dude, you're like, I was watching you because of this one show thing where you just talk about something, and I enjoy you talking about it. And then you've kind of like fucked off to do breakout. But like, if you do want to be on like a bigger event, right? Which he might not want to be, but a lot of people, I feel like they do boxing to get on Misfits, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you've kind of abandoned why people are interested with you. Respect you're putting on events right that people care about, but it's like he does need to strike a balance somewhere. So if he brings back the Pat from Mash show, right, I'll be there watching it. Just like yeah, I enjoy his content. It's Pat being Pat, and that's all we could see. Like his promo videos, ultimately they're quite funny because it's just Pat being Pat, and that's why I watch Pat. I don't watch Pat
Yeah.
because he makes breakout. I watch Pat because he's Pat.
Yeah, Pat's a
So
legend.
he is. Honestly, he was one of the first people to message me after my fight. And, I don't know, me and Pat were ever on good terms. We kind of had a mutual respect for each other, but I genuinely was like, I actually, like, on a personal level, I connected with him
Yeah.
after my loss because he's been through the exact same thing as I have. So it's like, I'm now, if I see more of his content, I'll be wanting to see him fight, if that makes sense. Obviously, I think he's having his fight today, isn't it? As we're
Yeah, yeah,
recording this.
yeah. Apparently, but I think Cal said it might be getting changed because of the weather.
It might be, but like hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully Pat wins because he's a genuinely nice dude and I want the best for him.
Yeah.
Mikey, any questions?
Any questions?
Kind of think we've covered all bases as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've talked about my fight. We waffled a bit. I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions now.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Obviously, TheFrostZone. I heard there's a little bit of beef going between you and some like 40-year-old guy on Twitter. I think he's like what is it, like some other like dead person or whatever he's
Another
called.
dead man.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I completely forgot his name. Because I don't care about him. But obviously, Cal Frostone. Do you reckon we can see you scrap him on 003?
well, you know what else up there, CV? I'm up for the fight. He's up for the fight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like it could be good for you because he has a. I think he has somewhat of the Facebook audience, but it might just be Sui Harrison for all we know.
Wait, what does he mainly curate on? Another dead man.
I think it's literally. I think he just streams Fortnite on Facebook.
All right, okay.
So it's Bobsy. You know, he's called out you and Benjamino, Cal, and it's like, well, Benjamino, like, I don't think he stepped foot in a boxing gym yet. You know, at least Deadman has something you could call footage. But it's yeah. Obviously, I want to see that fight because I feel like between you and him, it would be really interesting, Cal. Because I don't know what you're capable of, but I reckon you're like a dark horse, you know, in the boxing scene. I reckon you just come out like fucking like prime like Floyd Mayweather on his ass. Just,
I,
just
I
like
can
that
send.
fucking yeah, just that Philly shell, you know, like he would never expect it. It literally, like after that, he will be just another dead man, like because he would have no name or no remains in that ring. Like
Yeah,
he'd just be
That's
like
I,
gone.
yeah. Carl's gonna smoke him.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Even Benja can smoke him. And Benja's never done a day of boxing in his life, you know.
Well, has Benjamino not got like? Is he not even like
I don't
self-taught?
think so. From what I've heard, I think he just owns a pair of boxing gloves.
All
So,
love Benjamino.
oh no, fuck it, yeah. Praise off thumbnail god, but like
Yeah, yeah.
Benjo,
Get the
man.
thumbnail OG.
Benjo, man, I did it for 8 weeks and got my ass kicked. I know Dead Man's like literally shit, but still, man, just you need to put in that time and effort now to make it worth it. Trust me, bro. I've
oh,
said this to you in the SCB interview. I'm saying it to you now. Is like you need to just apply yourself now, and then you'll get so much better results when you do fight.
oh,
You know, 8 weeks for us guys isn't long enough. It's because you know we can't afford professional teams or professional camps. You know,
Yeah.
like what was I doing? Like I was just eating like chicken and rice like 2 meals a day, and you know
It's
working my job and
depressing.
going gym. Oh, honestly, you know, like I couldn't hack fish and rice cakes. I heard it's
Oh,
effective, but
it reminds me of that meme. You know that guy, and he's like, at 1 o'clock, I'll have a fish cake.
rice cake. That's what I felt sometimes with chicken and rice. We're like, have some chicken, have some rice.
Yeah,
At 2 o'clock, have some chicken, bit of rice.
yeah.
So
It is like I don't know if you ever get it when I eat chicken and rice like consistently. It's like you have one bite and you're like, "Fuck this."
yeah, I think it's because it's like you're so sick of it and you feel full from just eating it, and it's like I would try to spice it up a bit. You know, I might go like chicken on the bottom, rice on top, just to
Yeah,
like try
like
and make it feel different. You
yeah.
know, there's another time where it's like I got so bored of it, I just like my dad brought back from holiday like this bottle of like habanero sauce, right? I
Yeah.
just dolloped it on the that was a mad movement. I just put it all over the chicken, right? And my mouth was on fire for like at least 3 hours, and I just go to the gym just like
Yeah,
panting, out of breath before I've even done any workout because I'm just like
Jesus.
trying to cool myself down.
Yeah. What other foods would you eat to be healthy? Just chicken and rice, maybe like some
Oh
mince?
no, you know, maybe you know, kilogram of mince, you know. What if it worked for Temple Arts, it could work for me.
Yeah.
Just a fucking kilogram of mince just right there, you know, just eat it all. But to be fair, what I did eat healthy is I basically cut out like sweets and sugar and shit like that, and I literally just ate pasta and rice with
Yeah.
meat. No, I
Oh,
might
that'd be
spice it up
depressing.
with like I did have a KFC one time, and
Okay.
I'm not sure. Were you in the fighters chat at that point, Mikey? So there's
Um,
one point
I
where
don't
you're
know.
supposed to fight in 002, and
Yeah.
it's like Bad Boy posted a video of him eating KFC, right? And I just posted a picture of me eating my KFC at the same time, and it's
I can't remember. Maybe I was hooked.
maybe. I remember you being in there and you left like a week later because you obviously fucked your leg up.
Yeah.
That fucking sucked, by the way, because I was so excited to see you fight.
I know.
I was
Yeah,
like, fine.
it was depressing as well because I couldn't like walk for weeks after, so then I couldn't even exercise or do anything I
Yeah.
normally would do.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, all it is now is like Cal has to injure his leg. I mean, all three of you boys, are just completely fucked down there. So, Cal, I will be seeing you next week, and I will just sort of snap your leg
No,
just so you could join for a lot.
oh
But
yeah, sorry.
what
You
leg?
st
What leg did you injure, Mikey?
It was my right one.
Right
It
one.
was my
And what?
ankle.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna make a joke like, oh, if Brandon's injured his left one, and then you've done your right one, then like I just do Cal's third leg. But joke's ruined now. Cheers, mate. Uh,
no, but
Oh, it's
you, you've already stay away. I'm getting Brandon to beat you up again.
please don't.
well,
Please
that
don't.
was a bit questionable.
Yeah. Sorry,
Come on, the
I
Vizio.
the Riz Lord.
Yeah.
The
But
Vizio. That's the video of the Vizio.
yeah, Cal's got some serious ridge, Like
He actually does,
honestly,
like,
it does.
fucking hell. I mean, Mikey, if you've seen the girls down here, then like you know how effective a Riz can be. So
What is that? Like a joke saying the girls in England? Like I don't.
oh no, I mean like me and Cal are like basically same area.
Oh
We
right.
found out.
Oh right. Oh, oh
How
right.
far away do we live apart now, Cal? Did we find out? Was it like an hour? Something
Yeah,
like that.
you're literally about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cal
yeah.
told
That was
me. You know this. This ain't a joke. Cal told me he Google searches your house and looks through your windows.
uh concerning, but not surprised. But luckily for you, I'm on a third floor window, and the Google cameras car can't even reach that far up to see in there. So
That's what you think.
I always,
No, I'm joking. But yeah, it's Cal's birthday. Is it next week, her birthday, Cal?
woo!
no. Yeah, next week. Yeah. Well, I've got one with birthday ones then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Like, just get off.
30th of June.
Yeah.
So
30th of June.
the thing is, I've had to cancel on Calvo because I was gonna go and meet him for his birthday, and then I'm working that day now. So
He's
But
doing my
you
birthday.
messaged me and was like, "Oh, do you want to meet up the day of Cal's birthday?" And that was like an hour ago. You remember, Ethan? You were like, "Oh yeah, let's just meet up like an hour away from Cal's house, and then we can camp in his garden."
What the fuck is this?
you're not supposed to tell him, Mikey.
Oh shit!
Mikey. It's a surprise.
Oh,
Oh, fuck's sakes.
I-
Birthday.
I've ruined another surprise.
Well done.
I'm sorry,
Cheers.
buddy.
Yeah, you've ruined my week schedule. Trying to find time for this fucking podcast, and now you've ruined Cal's birthday surprises.
Fuck
I don't know
Cal's
what I'm gonna
birthday.
See, he's lost the hat and the sunglasses now. Do you feel proud of yourself?
I'll put the sunglasses back on.
Yeah, he's put. Yeah, exactly. He's not that upset.
Okay, so half of it's been restored. All right.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
slightly pissed off now.
Yeah, it's slightly like he's like secretly trying to like use his Jedi mind tricks to kill me.
It's not working.
I wasn't working.
Doesn't work for the glasses.
Cal, honestly, you honestly look like you could remake Terminator.
Right, come on now. I'll take that. I'll take that.
To be fair, he does have Arnie's build.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. Wait, how tall's Arnold?
I have the power of Google right now.
Oh my God. Well, Google Brandon's OnlyFans.
Google Brandon's own. He has an OnlyFans.
No, but he should. He kept telling me I was going to get it for free, and he's never made one.
You know what? To be fair, I feel like that OnlyFans would haunt me though, because every single time I look at it, it would feel like a flashback. Like, I shit you not, a week after, like a full week after I fight, I'll close my eyes and see the ref just like like scorching into my eyelids.
Jesus. Did you Google it?
Uh, I've got a confession to make to you lads. My PC does not have enough USB ports. My keyboard currently isn't plugged into my laptop.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
No,
actually use my phone, which I should have done.
Yeah.
Think about it. Uh, I'm not going to say his last name out loud because I'm not having it clipped out of context. Because I know what.
Well, that's why I said Arnold and didn't risk it.
Arnold High. He's 6'2". That's 2 inches taller than I am.
Hey,
That's
that's
the
the
same
same height
height
as
as
me.
you.
He's a short king.
He's the same height as me. Yeah, actually, mate, I could be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Whoa!
oh,
You're
Cal.
gonna have to bleep that. You're gonna have to bleep that out now.
I say it differently than how it's meant to be pronounced. So come on, it's not that.
Just call him Arnie, bro. Everyone knows what you're on about.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Getting cancelled.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hashtag
Apple
crossover cancelled.
Yeah. I mean, you can't cancel us.
Yeah, no, we ain't ever getting cancelled. You can't cancel someone who doesn't care about getting cancelled. Hence why Chapel was a yard back. You know what I'm saying?
How has Chapel come back, bro? Like bro's made something like risky tweets, right? And he just goes like, "I have uncancelled myself, guys," and everyone goes, "Sure."
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. It's crazy how it goes. But anyway, let's maybe finish with anything
Now
you want to
there's just
say,
more
any
I can
last
say.
words? You know what I'm saying, Ethan?
Say any last words? Just you know, if you do want to start boxing, right? Because you are inspired by you could be inspired by me. You could be inspired by literally anyone in the scene.
Definitely won't be
You wanna-
inspired by Ethan. Not I'm joking.
Right, I can literally just leave right now. You know, you won't get your final words. I can ruin your podcast, bro. Let me speak, all right? You know, be quiet, Mikey. Let me have my final. All right, you know what? Who's the host of this? Are you the host of this, Cal?
Of course, it's not.
No, it's Mike.
You are. Oh, okay. I was going to tell you to mute Mikey so I could speak.
I'll
but,
mute
you know.
myself. Right, wait.
Yeah. So if you are inspired by someone like me, or anyone else in this scene, I see you shaking your head, motherfucker. But if you're just inspired to box, right? Go ahead and do it. Like nothing's stopping you. You know. You don't need to have a fight, and you don't need to have a fight confirmation to box. You could just box just to enjoy it.
That's not true.
And I'm trying to do something inspirational, man. Basically, just get in the gym. If you have a fight come up, you have a fight come up, and just be prepared to always fight. You know, don't go, "Oh, I'll get a fight, then I'll train." Just do it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure his catchphrase. I think it's Nike's catchphrase, isn't it? Just do it.
Shia LaBeouf.
And Shia LaBeouf, yes,
Yeah.
I remembered it. Kind of looked like him a bit, Mikey, with like the fucking beard. Hey, I reckon if you would have like a fucking ponytail, you could do the Shia LaBeouf. So. Rizz up Megan Fox, have the sweet ass car. Dig a few holes.
And dig a few
What are
holes
things?
for who?
Have you not seen Holes?
Oh, yeah. Shit, I forgot about that movie. Yeah, where it's like he's like he does something, doesn't he? He gets sent away to this
Yeah.
like juvenile.
His whole like family's cursed to have bad luck, and his name's Stanley Yellnuts, which is Stanley, and then Stanley backwards. Really creative, That's like Cal being called Cal Lack. Like,
Bro, that just triggered my dyslexia. I'm not I'm not gonna lie.
wait, you had to like reverse that in your head. It's like, wait, what was CAL? CAL?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It sounded a bit Chinese to me.
Fucking hell. Don't mention Chinese because Callum Vella's bird will be about. You never know.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, but those are my final words. Like, if you just go out and do boxing, you don't have to have a fight in mind. Just do it. So, I am the definition of just doing it. So,
Beautiful words.
thank you.
So when we finally get him to speak, it was actually a good message.
What
Yeah.
are you on about? You're the one who kept interrupting him.
Yeah, Cal, how dare you? Mikey's been here like good as gold. Sat here quietly, and you're just been a disruptive little shit. If I was a teacher right now, you'll be straight to the principal's office. So.
Something's telling me Cal wants to be spanked.
Hey, not by me, bro. That's what the principal's for, right? Principal Epstein.
Right.
Yeah. As in typical fashion, we've went a bit off topic near the end. But honestly, thank you, Ethan, for coming on. I know it was a bit of a hassle to get you to come on. No
Yeah.
fault of me and Cal, obviously, just you, but
It was all on me, bro. Honestly, is that like I'm such a difficult person to work with, and if you say a time to me, I'll just completely ignore it and just do
yeah.
it when I want to do it.
Yeah.
So
And you're the
if
only
anyone,
guest to demand 25 new MacBooks.
hey, it's like with me, it's like I'm such a high value, like person that I need these things, and if it's not provided, I'm not fucking doing it. Like Mikey has just wired me £5,000 from his offshore account just to appear on this
Don't
episode because it's
mention the
what I
offshore.
demand.
Don't mention the offshore account.
Oh shit! Sorry, sorry, sorry. Oh, you can always edit it out, right? It's not live streamed.
Well, that's effort.
That's effort. If Benjo won't do it, no one would. So
But yeah, honestly, thank you for coming on. Cal, any last words to the GOAT? This might be your only opportunity because he just messaged me and said he never wants to hear from you again.
Right. You've been beaten by Brandon. If you want to get beaten by Brandon's coach and beat me outside somewhere, out of some fucking alleyway, will you even show me that's fucking habit? I'm sick of you disrespecting me.
dude, honestly, like my nuts are so big that to even meet your weight, I'll have to cut both of them off. So it's a no go.
Well, I'll fight you with the weight advantage. Come on now. We're
Have you ever seen that episode of South Park where Randy Marsh get like purposely gives himself big testicles? That's why I walk around like fucking like bouncing on that shit all day. So
Like two bouncy balls. Honestly, no, we've got to end it there, guys. We've got to end it there.
yeah, no, we've went on for way too long.
Yeah,
I
when you
doubt half
mentioned
of
the
this will
balls,
make the edit, but
it's all definitely making the edits.
we'll
Okay.
make it. I feel so. If you made it this far, right? What I want you to do is I want you to go on Twitter, tweet at True Power Boxing. You're a stinky little nonce, and quite frankly, ratio, and then just tweet that at him. And if you do that, I will know that you watched to the very end, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. In by every message or tweet you don't send out, Ethan's going to charge us £25,000.
hmm Yeah. So that's my going rate, to make it worth it.
Yeah, which is cheap for a goat like yourself.
Exactly. I mean, I normally charge like, dude, I fucking actually speaking about Impulsive, they want me on their podcast. They offered me a milli. I was like, nah, make it two. And they never got back to me. So
Their loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
thought Logan Paul had money in the bank, so
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, with all the scams he's been doing.
I was on about his WWE match, Money in the Bank, but
Oh.
That went right over your head, Mike.
yeah, most things do though, don't they, Mikey?
Whoa, guys.
I love how this podcast was supposed to end like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
We're still
well,
talking.
you're the one coming at the dyslexic.
All right, everyone, take care. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hopefully, it's linked below. Subscribe to Crossover Convos. Share it to everyone you know, like your mum, your dog, your mum dog, everything.
Your girlfriend,
And
your side chick.
Canon Vella's girlfriend's OnlyFans. Just like subscribe to it, right? Send her the link, and be like, your boyfriend is crusty as fuck.
Thank you so much for watching. We've been joined by the GOAT, Ethan. We've obviously got Sexy Cal. And until next time, guys, goodbye.
See ya.